Hey, boss. You're looking really down today. Long day at work? You know, I've been driving you for a while now, and I don't think I've ever seen you this quiet. Usually, you at least nod or say something. Everything okay? Look, I don't mean to pry, but sometimes talking helps. You don't have to bottle it all up, boss. Sharing a problem can ease the burden, you know.
I lost my job today.
Oops.
They fired me. Just like that. No reason. No explanation. No benefits. Nothing. I gave them years of my life, and they threw me out like I was nothing.
Man. That's tough. Really tough. I'm sorry, boss. That's not right at all.
I don't even know what to do now. How do I go home and tell my family? How do I even start over?
I won't pretend I know exactly how you feel.
But I do know what it's like to hit rock bottom. Lost my own business once. Thought it was the end. But life. It finds a way. One step at a time, you'll get through this.
Didn't expect a cab driver to be a life coach.
Hey. I've heard all kinds of stories in this car. Figured I'd share some wisdom when I can.
Honey, what's wrong? You look troubled.
Dear, I don't know how we're going to get through this. Losing my job. It feels like everything is closing in on me.
I know this is hard, but we will figure it out. Maybe we should start by putting your CV together, applying to new openings. There are still opportunities out there.
I've already been applying. And nothing. No response, no callbacks. It's like every door is shutting in my face. Like the world doesn't care.
I understand, dearie, but we can't lose faith. God has always been there and provided for us.
Has he? Because right now, I don't see it. Where was God when they sacked me unjustly? Now the bills keep piling up, the rent is due, the kids' school fees are unpaid. Where is God in all this as you claim?
He's here. He promised never to leave us nor forsake us.
Then why does it feel like we've been forsaken? Didn't David say in Psalm 37:25, I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging for bread? But here we are, Ruth. What does that make us?
It makes us human, Edwin. People who are struggling, yes, but not abandoned. Remember Job. He lost everything, yet in the end, God restored him.
That was Job. I'm not sure I have his kind of faith.
Then let's borrow it for now. Let's trust that God hasn't written the last chapter of our story yet.
What is the matter? Why do you look worried?
Something terrible has happened.
What happened?
Robbers broke into our shop last night.
What? Are you okay? Were you hurt?
No, I'm fine. They took everything, Edwin. The shop. The money. Even the supplier's payment.
Thank God you weren't hurt. That's what matters most, Ruth. We can fix everything else.
But Edwin. How? We work so hard, yet we keep experiencing losses. How will we pay them back? This is just too much. We were already drowning in debt, and now this. I told our suppliers we'd pay them by tomorrow. What do I tell them now?
I don't have all the answers, Ruth. But I know this, we'll get through it. Together. We always have.
Edwin. You scared me.
I scared myself too. I guess my body finally gave up on me.
You've been carrying too much, I kept telling you. I told you to take it easy, to stop carrying everything on your shoulders. But no, you wouldn't listen. And now, look where you are.
Ruth. I know.
You can't keep doing this to yourself, to us. Stressing over everything won't change anything. Are you in pain? Edwin, are you hurting? Should I call the doctor?
No, Ruth. I'm okay. Really.
You don't look okay, dearie.
I will be. As long as you're here.
I'm always here, but promise me. Promise me you won't let this weight crush you again.
I promise. Danielle, I wouldn't be asking if I had another choice. Things have been really tough lately. The hospital bills, my wife's store loss, the house rent. I just need some help to get back on my feet.
Edwin, I hear you. And I wish I could help, but I just can't right now.
Can't? Or won't?
Come on, Edwin. You know it's not like that. I have my own responsibilities too. My business is struggling, and I have a family to take care of.
I understand. I really do. It's just... I don't know what else to do, Daniel.
Look, man, I know things are rough, but borrowing money won't solve the real problem. Maybe you should take a step back, rethink your next move. Find another way.
Another way? Do you think I haven't been trying? I've knocked on every door, Daniel. And they all seem to be shutting in my face.
I get it, Edwin. But even if I gave you the money, what happens next month? You need something sustainable.
Yeah. I guess I just hoped you'd be the one door that didn't close on me.
Edwin, it's not about shutting you out.
It's fine, Daniel. I understand. Daniel. Of all people. I never thought he'd be the one to turn me down. I helped him when he was struggling. Gave him money when his rent was due, even when I didn't have much myself. And now? Now that I need help, he suddenly has responsibilities. How do people forget so soon? How do you turn your back on someone who stood by you? I never expected this from him. Not in a time like this. Maybe I expected too much. Maybe I thought friendship meant something deeper. God, why does it feel like every door is closing? What am I supposed to do now?
Honey? What is it? What happened?
Daniel. He turned me down.
Daniel? But I thought
too. I thought he'd help. I thought he'd remember how I stood by him when he needed me. But no. He just gave me excuses. Said he had his own responsibilities.
I'm sorry, Edwin. I know that must hurt.
Yes, it hurts. I don't even know how to take care of the family. No job, your shop is down, no help. Nothing.
We still have each other, Edwin. And we still have God. I think we should go to church this Sunday.
Church? Ruth, with everything going on, I don't even have the energy to sit through a sermon. What difference will it make?
It will make a lot of difference, Edwin. We need to be in God's presence now more than ever. We need strength, direction, and peace. And honestly, we can't do this alone.
But tell me, What will going to church change? Will it bring back my job? Will it pay the bills? Will it put food on the table?
Maybe not immediately. But it will remind us who our provider is. It will remind us that we are not forgotten. That God still has a plan, even in this mess.
You really believe this, don't you?
With all my heart.
All right, Ruth. We'll go.
Thank you, dearie.
Brethren, this morning, I feel led to remind us of a simple but powerful truth. Fix your eyes on God, not the storm. Let's turn to Matthew 14:29-31. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and, beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. Peter was walking on water, doing the impossible. Until he took his eyes off Jesus and focused on the storm. The wind and the waves made him afraid, and fear made him sink. Isn't that what happens to us? We get overwhelmed by life's troubles, and instead of trusting God, we let fear and worry drown us. Some of us are drowning, not because God isn't there, but because we've shifted our focus. We're staring at our problems instead of looking at the one who can lift us above them. Listen, child of God, your problems are real, but so is your God. He hasn't forgotten you. He hasn't abandoned you. So, lift your eyes. Stop staring at the storm. Fix your eyes on Jesus, and He will bring you through. Lord, I see it now. I've been drowning in my worries. Help me fix my eyes on you. You know, I'm really glad we went to church today.
I knew you would be.
The atmosphere. The worship. Just being in God's presence with other believers, it did something to me. I felt lighter, like I had been carrying this weight alone, but today I was reminded that I don't have to.
That's what happens when we shift our focus back to God.
Pastor's message really hit me. I've been acting like Peter, so focused on the storm, the unpaid bills, the disappointment with Daniel, the struggles, that I forgot who was in my boat. God never left, Ruth. I just wasn't looking at Him.
That's why I kept insisting we go. I knew you needed to hear that message. We both did.
You were right. Again. I may not have all the answers yet, but one thing I know, I won't let worry consume me anymore. God is still in control, and somehow, He'll make a way for us.
That's the Edwin I know and love.
Tomorrow, I'm getting up with a fresh mindset. I'll keep trusting, keep praying, and keep moving forward. Something good is coming, Ruth. I can feel it. That sermon. It was great. It's amazing how it stirred up my faith, made me see things differently. All this time, I've been drowning in problems, thinking that's all there is. But, what if Pastor is right? What if I've been looking at this all wrong? What if there's more to this focusing on God than I realize? No, I need to understand this better. I think Pastor will have more to tell me. Yes, I need to visit him. I need to hear more. I need to know more. I can't go back to worrying the way I did before. Pastor, your sermon really stirred something in me. I've been so focused on my problems that I forgot to focus on God. But I still don't fully understand. How do I shift my focus? The bills are still there, the struggles haven't disappeared. Good question. You see, Edwin, focusing on God doesn't mean pretending your problems don't exist. It means choosing not to let them define your faith, your peace, or your actions. Let me ask you this, when Peter walked on water, did the storm stop immediately? No, it didn't. Exactly. The wind was still blowing, the waves were still high. But Peter walked on the water as long as his eyes were on Jesus. The moment he looked at the storm, he began to sink. So, what you're saying is, I need to keep my eyes on God even when things don't change immediately? That's right. And how do we do that? By feeding on His Word, staying in prayer, surrounding ourselves with faith-filled people, and speaking His promises instead of our fears. So, instead of waking up worrying about how things will work out, I should wake up reminding myself that God is my provider? Yes, instead of saying, I don't know how I'll survive, you declare, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want, Psalm 23:1. Instead of saying, everything is working against me, you say, all things work together for good for those who love God, Romans 8:28. That means even if I don't see the answer yet, I still trust that God is working. Now you're getting it. Faith is believing in what you don't see yet. And when you focus on God, your peace increases, your strength returns, and solutions begin to appear, sometimes in ways you never expected. Pastor, thank you. I needed this. Anytime, my brother. Now, go and live in that faith.
Eventually, Edwin went in the strength of that word. He chose to fix his eyes on God rather than his problems, and as he did, everything gradually turned around in his favor. At first, nothing seemed different, his challenges remained, and the bills still needed to be paid. But something had changed within Edwin. He no longer carried the burden alone. Each morning, he woke up with renewed faith, declaring God's promises over his life. Instead of dwelling on what he lacked, he gave thanks for what he had. Opportunities began to open in unexpected places. A former colleague reached out with a job offer, one even better than his previous position. Ruth's store, though hit by the robbery, started seeing more customers than before, and suppliers extended grace on their debts. Friends who had been silent in his time of need began to show up with support. What once seemed like an endless storm became a testimony of God's faithfulness. Edwin learned that faith wasn't about waiting for perfect conditions, but about trusting in the one who controls all seasons. And as he kept his eyes on God, he walked on the waters of life, just like Peter did. In the end, what the enemy meant for harm, God turned around for good. Edwin's story became one of hope, reminding everyone around him that no matter how strong the storm, God is always stronger. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment and share. God bless you.